Hello guys, welcome back to another video. So today we are going to be reviewing Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And this is going to be a long and good video, and I'm going to review this game. In my opinion, this is the best classic game in the whole series. And yes, I think it's better than Sonic the Hedgehog 3. But it's not that I don't like that game. That game is pretty good. But this game is just really fun to play through. Even the Genesis version of this game is good to play too, unlike Sonic 1.
And most of the zones in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 are really fun to go through and just play through, But except for Metropolis Zone, that zone is definitely the worst one in the game. And Wing Fortress Zone is it's fine, but it's not really that good. And also the a mobile port in this game by Christian Whitehead also has Hidden Palace and Knuckles, which is pretty good. And this is official, so I can play this for a review of Sonic 2. But if you've never played Sonic 2, I suggest trying it out. I bet you're gonna have a fun time because this game is really good, even if you're not really that much of a Sonic fan. And I know this isn't like part of Sonic 2, well it is, but there are a lot of scrapped zones from Sonic 2 that never like made appearance. I think there was like a zone where like there was like sand everywhere, like a sand zone, but Sonic 3 was the first actual sand level. And also was also a zone in Sonic Mania, which is pretty good. And in the original Sonic 2, Tails couldn't even actually fly. And that really sucked. But at least they changed that in remastered ports. In my last video, I went through all the zones. But in this video, I'm not gonna do that because, there are a lot more zones in Sonic 2 and I just don't want to do a zone review. I actually just want to talk about the game. So here's the thing about me. I'm not a huge fan of, water levels in Sonic games. They're just not really done in a lot of Sonic games. But in this game, I think they're handled pretty well. Like, in Aquatic Ruin, if you go through the top path, then you get to see, no water in the level, and that is really good for speedrunners. And if you fall in the water, then, probably for the rest of the level, you're probably going to be underwater. So, you have to be careful what you do in this level, which is really good, and I hope that's what every Sonic water level does. In Sonic 2, Tails was pretty useless. All he did was just follow you around, and if he hit bosses before you, then you probably just get hit or just die. But at least they fixed that on the remaster ports, because now Tails you can fly with Tails, which is really useful in some of the levels, and I really like that change. So he's just not useless, he actually does something when you partner up with him, which is really good. And I might be the only one that actually says this, but Casino Night is a really cool zone. It's so colorful. There's a log in the background. It's like Starlight Zone, in the sky, there's stars in the sky, and it's pretty cool. It actually feels like you're in a casino. And I'm not really the biggest fan of Casino Night, but it's a pretty cool level. It's the coolest level in the game. And this level is pretty easy. It's the easiest level in the game. It's easier than Emerald Hill. But, it's cool. Just a good break from the game, Well, now for Metropolis Zone, which is not a good level. Well, not a good zone. Because first off, there's 3 acts again, like in Sonic 1, which sucked. And then now, there are like enemies everywhere. And there's these stupid star things, like when you get Hades go flying, it's just annoying. And then the stupid grasshoppers, like, why? And then, like, it's just like, what is, why? Why did they have to make a bad level like this? Like, every level before this was so good, and then they decided to make this level. But I mean, the background of this level looks pretty good. Like, it's like, I mean, aesthetics, theming of this level, it's pretty good, you know? But that's the only thing about this level. Like, all 3 acts are just bad. They're not good. Like, I would not replay these acts. I'm only replaying it because the footage. And for you guys. Also, there are special stages in this game. And the special stages are pretty good. But if you're playing the Genesis version, well, yeah, you're not gonna have a good time. Because the special stages on the Genesis version are just like not good. Like, you can barely see what's coming in them, you know? But I mean, at least there's something like they're much more interesting than in Sonic 1. And also, for collecting all the Chaos Emeralds, you actually get Super Sonic. Or you can't turn Super as Tails, I don't think. But if you're playing the mobile version or the remastered version, then you can turn Super as Knuckles, which is pretty good. And I really like how in the water levels, like, you just, like, they just don't feel like as slow as Labyrinth Zone. And also the menus look good, and there's a 2-player versus mode that wasn't in the Sonic 1 remaster, which is really good. Everything about this game just feels like a lot bigger and like more improved. Like, there's no speed caps like in Sonic 1, because this game's more focused on speed, which, I mean, for some of you guys, you guys may not like that, because like people like more platforming in Sonic games. But to be honest, I don't even mind it. It's pretty good. Like, Advance 2 did that, and a lot of people didn't really like that, but I thought the levels were pretty fun in Advance 2. And I think Sonic 2's levels are just really good, except for Wing Fortress and Metropolis Zone. You know, because Wing Fortress had, like, it was pretty confusing to play in. Because, like, I mean, you can explore a lot in the level, but, you know, it's just, like, really big, and you don't even know. It kind of reminds me of Marble Zone a little bit. But, yeah. The bosses in this game are pretty good. I like them. And people say that, like, the bosses in the classic games end too fast, but they're pretty good. And then at the end, Sonic tries to, like, defeat, like, Robotnik on his, like, spaceship or something. And then you actually go into space, but you don't actually play space level, it's just the final boss. And the final boss in this game is, I don't like it, because you have no rings at all. Like, if you make one mistake, you're done. Like, you immediately die. And I don't really like that, but I mean, they're trying to increase the difficulty, so you just don't just spam kill them, you know. But the first boss you fight here is the Metal Mech Sonic one, and I used to have a lot of trouble with this, but it's not that bad now. And then the second boss you fight is the Death Egg Robot. And this boss is, I mean, it's pretty good itself, but since you have no rings, you really need to be careful, because if you make one mistake, you're done, like I said before. But it's a pretty cool boss though, and the background looks really cool. Like you actually feel like you're in space, and then you get to dodge like Death Egg's attacks, you know. And then there's also a time attack mode, and the time attack mode's pretty good. Well, it works the same as it did in the first game. And yeah, you get to choose whatever you want, any act, you know, got a speed run. And this game's environments just like are a lot more interesting than in Sonic 1's. Like what is a spring guard zone? Like, I don't even know what that is, but like these locations feel like well, they're not obviously not actual locations, but they actually feel more real than what was in Sonic 1, and they feel like more alive than in Sonic 1. And also, I don't think this is the best game in like the whole classic games, because I think Sonic Mania is better than this game. I know that might be a hot take, but this is my second favorite game behind Sonic Mania in terms of the classic games, really. And there's one zone that I would like to highlight, and that is Hilltop Zone. Hilltop Zone is a really good zone. It's one of my favorites in the game, and like it's really cool because like there's like lava, and like it's in the sky, like there's like trees, like it feels like more like homey, you know, just like it's like a really cool environment. And then the main gimmick of this is like you go on these like, I don't even know what to call them, but you just go flying once like you send one of them in the air, and then these like glider things, like it just feels like an actual area that you go through, you know. Then there's this underground part, and this part is really cool. Like it has a lot of like obstacles here that you need to go through. And then like there's this part where the whole like cave or whatever we're in starts to crumble and rip tails. And if you go through this part, then you go like flying off a slope. It's really cool. But that's the end of the video, guys, and subscribe for more reviews, and have a good day.